Welcome to the podcast, Organized Mayhem. We're coming to you from 110 South 11th Street, which is the home of Maria and the Rap Shack. And we are here to talk to you about all things Philadelphia restaurant business and everything in between. I'm Cammie, here with my brother Scott and my friend John Lupa. Here we go.
God, this guy.
I hit record.
No, you hit dictionary.
We're good.
Okay, did you hit record?
Yep.
Okay, hi, it's Cammie and
Scott.
You're really Lupa to
Yes,
me.
yes.
Okay, that's fine.
He
We
is the
are
Lupa.
here with Organized Mayhem. We are here actually on a Monday morning. And this morning, we are coming back from Scott being away on vacation. And we're going to discuss what it's like to come back to a restaurant after the owner has been on vacation. Lupa, you are in charge. I'm just going to ask you a little bit about what it was like while Scott was here. Let's talk about what was it like in a positive way. Like, what was good about Scott not being here?
That's an interesting question.
Me not bitching. I'm assuming.
You don't have to answer. I didn't ask you. You'll get your turn. I'm asking Lupa.
Listen,
I'm starting him off.
Mhm.
The positives are things keep moving. To be honest, with Scott here, it's the same thing as when he's here. You know what? It only helps me.
Right.
To be honest, I have to work less hours. I think I worked 150 hours in 2 weeks. That's stressful.
Right.
The positives are, listen, Scott dislikes some of his employees, and I get along with them sometimes a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
So that's one positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And what was...
By the way, I'm a positive Polly.
Yeah.
especially today, I think he's more negative than usual.
Oh, this is average.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not used
Yeah.
to seeing him that way. So just in case you're just tuning in for the first time, we are brother and sister, and Lupe and I are friends, and they are friends, colleagues, and sometimes at each other's throats. So I'm the Organized, they are the Mayhem. But let's get back to you about what it was like on vacation. What was the hardest day, hardest night? Was it the hours? Tell me a little bit about like what was really challenging while Scott wasn't being here.
Kind of a good one. We had a manager that was supposed to help me. She was a younger girl. So I came in probably like 9 a.m. that day. It was about 11 o'clock. I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. 14 hours, that's got to be enough. She had come in at 6. I clocked out at 11. She clocked out at 11:15. We're open till 2 a.m. So, of course, as soon as she clocked out, there was probably 3 or 4 major issues. And so she's no longer with us.
When did you find out that she clocked out 15 minutes after you clocked out?
At 11:42 when I unlocked my door
Mhm.
and got 3 phone calls back to back.
So how did you handle? Did you have to come back to the restaurant?
I was going to come back, but then the security guard we have is really good. He kind of handled the situation. But, yeah, it's just ridiculous. That should never happen.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so did anything happen while she wasn't here?
I'm trying to think the exact situation. We had a bartender that got into a fight with a customer. The customer started taking pictures of her and telling her that she was terrible at her job, and it turned into a screaming match on
Okay.
Friday night.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's good.
How was that? How did it de-escalate? Because obviously it sounded like it was.
I think eventually the bartender just walked away. We have another bartender who's a really sweet guy. He came in and kind of took care of the situation. The security guard helped. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like, so now that Scott's back, have you recuperated yet from the long hours?
He'll say I worked 4 hours the last few days, but yeah.
Maybe 5.
You get your turn in a second. Okay.
Yeah, but no, yes, semi-recuperated.
Okay.
It's hard to recoup. Listen, if you're working morning to night, day in, day out, so it takes a couple weeks to get back to normal.
Okay. And so somebody was fired. Did you do the firing?
I tried to do the firing.
Okay. When you say try, it doesn't sound hard. Like you fire someone, you fire
It
someone.
seems easy, but then she was asking a lot of questions, and I was like trying to keep it pretty cordial. And I ended with, okay, well, it's been a pleasure working with you. It's over. And she goes, no, it's not. I'm going to show up tomorrow. So
Okay. And then what did you say after that?
I kind of got flummoxed and was just like, no, you're done. And she's like, no, I'm coming. And so I just like, okay.
Okay. And so then you were happy that Scott was back. And I'm
Yes.
assuming, so now I'm going to turn it over to Scott. So you have someone who was tried to be fired, and now you had to jump in and do the actual firing. How did that
From
conversation?
Italy.
Oh, but you did it from Italy.
Yeah, I did it from Italy.
Okay, so what happened?
Lupa calls me. He's like, I was on the phone with her 40 minutes. She kept saying no, that she's coming back in. I go, 40 minutes? I was like, I'll call you back. So I called her, said real fast what she doesn't do, which she doesn't do anything. And I said, that's it. I wish you luck. And I hung up. Wish you luck. That's it.
So do we think that there's any chance that she will come in today?
No, there's. You never know.
You never know.
You know what? What usually happens is on a Friday night or Saturday night, they're out drinking somewhere, and then they stumble in and cause problems.
Yes.
That doesn't go well for them. It happens a lot. Everyone gets their little excited to come back when they've had a few drinks.
Okay, so let's actually pick that up. I'm going to ask you about a time that you fired someone and they stumbled in here. What happened?
I got a good one.
Too many.
The lottery winner.
Oh, the lottery winner. Is that I fired him, right?
So we had this cook that goes, he was telling us he asked for a lot of money to start. And this is when 18th Street was there. And Scott gave him, he goes, I'll pay you the money. You have to be able to learn the menu in 2 weeks. And on Friday, you're going to cook lunch. Lunches up there were insane. We had.
I just want to stop because not everybody knows what we're talking about. So
Okay.
right now we are on 11th Street. We are
I'm sorry.
Okay, we are at Maria, and
Yes.
we are attached to the Wrap Shack. Okay, so two different vibes here, but there was a restaurant on 18th Street.
Correct.
So back to you.
Okay. So Scott gave him a fair ultimatum. Sure, I'll give you this big amount of money. You have to be able to do the menu Friday lunch. He comes in Friday lunch. The tickets start going. He disappears. And we're like, where's he at? In the bathroom? Everybody's looking for the guy. He walked out.
Okay.
3 months later, he comes in wasted. Fuck you. I won the lottery. I'm rich. Like in our face. He's like, I'm going to buy this place.
Huh.
3 months after that, came back to ask for his job.
Okay. So do we know the details about him winning the lottery? Did he really win the lottery?
We think he did.
He could have.
Yeah, but a small amount.
Yeah.
Not enough to.
You know,
The vital bit.
what happens is they'll win like $10,000, think they
It's over.
can live, and they forget about taxes and everything like that, and then they spend it all.
So because I'm like the least confrontational person that probably ever lived. So what happens if somebody comes here drunk and they're an ex-employee and they're, being disruptive? What do? You call security?
Well, it always starts like this. Oh, I'm going to go say hi to the cooks. Oh, I'm going to go say hi. And then they overstep the bounds.
Yeah, they want to hang out on the
Yes.
kitchen.
Okay.
Like, they think they can still work here.
Mhm.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
All
It
the
happens
time.
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yep.
All right, and that's why the bar restaurant industry is very different than corporate culture, where someone
You would
gets
never go
fired.
back.
You don't go back.
What about the guy I fired that he was a chef and I was teaching him how to cook and he was cooking with one hand. I was like, something wrong with your hand? Remember this?
I only use one.
I only use one. And he goes to me, I can cook faster with my one hand than your two. And I go, get the fuck out of here.
All right, so we got two F-bombs while we're here. That's okay, no
That's all right.
problem.
We got more to come.
Listen,
Yeah.
that's the part of a restaurant. And if anybody has seen the show The Bear, which I'm a huge fan of, you definitely see like how the chaos in a restaurant is like no other business that I've ever seen ever. And even in the show The Bear, it's all food. It's not drinking at a bar.
Well, what I like about the Bear and also about the restaurant business is that, you get in the weeds. Weeds means you get behind and then you get out of it. That's the most exciting part. It's like when you have 100 reservations, life is crazy. You think that this is never going to end. All hell's breaking loose. And then everyone puts their head down, they work together and they get out of it. And that's when like the camaraderie and the fun part of the kitchen and the staff is like, okay, that was crazy. We did it. And
Absolutely. And I know this segment, I'm just going to get it back to vacations because this is really about what it's like to come back to the restaurant after you've been on vacation. Obviously, it was in extremely capable hands with Lupa, right? It was amazing. Were you able to disconnect while you were with your beautiful wife on vacation?
definitely disconnected. Saw a lot of great places in Italy. Got some ideas. What's fun about this time, we're in August now, is that now we're getting into the fun time of getting into the fall. So we're coming up with new menu ideas. We have Restaurant Week coming September 10th to the 23rd. So we're working on that. So this is actually, I got a little relaxation, hung out with the wife, and had a great time. And wish I did it more or for longer. And now it's back to business, and it's a fun business to get into it. Like we know we're getting into the busy time, and coming up with new cocktails and stuff like that is really exciting.
Well, I'm actually going to ask you a couple more questions about being on vacation. How many times did Lupa call you with problems while you're on vacation? Any?
So the first 3 days, I don't think we talked at all.
Texted.
We texted like once or twice.
Yeah.
And then the fourth day, I think, is when we had the problem with the manager.
Mm-hmm.
And or the fifth day, And so that was the first time we talked.
Okay.
And then we texted a couple times other than that. And then the last day or the payroll day, I had to be a part of it because I have to pay people.
Right. So,
unfortunately, I have to pay people.
So, but you knew that you were gonna that was part on vacation. You can't totally disconnect on vacation. So, one other thing that I'm going to ask you about you being on vacation in Italy, because it's also a different business, the restaurant business, than a lot of other businesses, because you're eating out, right? You're on vacation and you're eating out. Can you enjoy an amazing meal, or are you constantly thinking, okay, either this should go on the menu, or the service wasn't good, or this could have been hot, or this, I know you're probably flexible with problems because that can happen anywhere. But how is it for you to enjoy your meals while you're on vacation?
Well, one, couldn't understand because I'm not Italian. I couldn't understand what anyone was talking about when they were explaining the menu to me. So that was always a little interesting. So I let my wife kind of do the ordering a little bit.
Okay.
But then enjoying the meal. Listen, they cook so differently than in America. So it's like everything. I had so much pizza and pasta. Went to so many different wineries. The food was so good, but just so different. So,
what about portions? Similar, different?
The portions are similar. A lot more vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of more vegetables on your plate. But no, I mean, the food was great. Had a great time. But yeah, I'm always looking to add things or a little flair to our menu. But some of it doesn't translate. So a lot of the ideas when I've had a drink in Italy and I'm like, oh, this is great. This would be great on the menu. And then I come back to reality and I'm like, yeah, that's not what we are.
I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about vacation is the name of this restaurant was inspired by a vacation spot.
That is correct. So the name is Marea. It's in Tahiti. It's spelled a little different. That's a story in itself. So it's spelled in Tahiti Moorea. Lupa over here, for some reason, can't pronounce that. Marea.
I refuse to pronounce it.
What?
Moorea.
Moorea.
I hated that it sounded bad.
So for months, he was calling it Moorea. And I go, okay, if I take off an O, will you call it right? He said, yeah, I'll call it Marea. So I'm like, okay. So that's what we did.
And so some of these drinks, I think, are even inspired by that kind
correct.
of. Okay, so tell me about that.
All right. So we have the Almighty, and we have the Bora Bora. The Bora Bora is over here with the beautiful flower over here.
Mm-hmm.
Two great cocktails that have been on the menu for a while, and very, very popular. And just the way we wanted our cocktails to look is to have that islandy kind of feel, just like Marea. So, and a lot of our cocktails have that, and people appreciate that. So we really wanted a real nice atmosphere in here, and I think that's what we do with our cocktails and the atmosphere and the look.
And I'm going to wrap up this segment because I think one of the things that we talk about having a restaurant and having people dine at a restaurant is you want them to come in and feel like the stress of their day went away, and maybe that they're on a mini vacation. They can't necessarily go to Bora Bora, but they can drink a beautiful drink and they can make them feel that they got away from their troubles just a little bit, even if they didn't have to go on a plane. So whether it's with the cuisine, with the drinks, with the music, I know that you guys really try to make sure that this place is a wonderful atmosphere for everyone to let loose and have a good time, and hopefully not too loose where security gets involved.
Well, the name of the podcast is Organized Mayhem. Just because it's our mayhem doesn't mean that our customers have to feel any of that mayhem.
Absolutely.
So that's really, it's all behind the scenes. I mean, what we are doing on a daily basis, it's the restaurant business. We never know what is going to happen. Lupa bartended last night. I mean, and
do you have any experience bartending?
Now he does.
I poured shots and beers before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was it? It's probably great to have a understanding of what it's like for each job. So how was bartending?
Yes. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to Marea, listen, it is a cocktail lounge. We stress our cocktails. Mm-hmm. They have to be right. Every cocktail has to look the same. For somebody who doesn't do it every day, day in, day out, listen, I'm not that great at using a jigger and measuring all the drinks out and stuff. So it was a little complicated, but I had a good person helping me, and we got through it.
I don't know anything about. I know how to pour myself a glass of wine. I don't think I know anything about making a cocktail, but I'm sure that there is an exact science to it.
There's
and
definitely an exact science.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people are particular about their drinks.
Correct.
They're particular about their drinks. You know, what I always say is that people are particular about everything, but the more simple things, they're more particular. Like our sides, our mac and cheese, stuff like that. Things that people make at home is what they're like, well, I know how to make it. And that's always a point of contention.
I get that. I actually take, even if it's as simple as two things that I do very well, they're very simple. One, I think I perfectly cream cheese or butter a bagel, like perfectly. And two, I'm making beautiful grilled cheese.
Okay.
So I feel like those are two things you can make at home and that you can be particular about.
So I have a question for you about your buttering a bagel. Do you use salted butter or regular butter? Because
that is a great
seems
question.
to be a problem here all the time.
You can't be a bagel buttering expert and not know.
We stumped her.
Yeah.
No, well, you know what? I'm trying to think, like I use a tube of like a soft butter. So I think
there's definitely no salt in that butter.
Yeah, definitely no salt.
But that is always, chefs do not like
Unsalted.
They don't like unsalted butter.
Correct.
They like salted butter.
Whereas most people get a bagel like unsalted. You don't want salty butter. So
it is like an ongoing battle.
Yeah. Oh, listen, everybody is going to, I mean, I guess I would defer to a chef for that, but I would say my butter to bagel ratio is perfect.
Any clumps of butter?
I like it when it's totally melted. So I
completely melted.
Completely melted.
I like one little clump so you can dip the top.
Yeah, I mean, nah, but
I didn't get like this for no reason.
I also, like, I would say, like, for me, my perfect bagel is, not that we sell bagels here, but you can go next door, I guess, to Milk Boy. Do they sell bagels?
No, we can sell bagels.
But to me, like, so the perfect bagel, I do a bagel, I do like a lightly cream cheese, tomato, dip a little bit of salt. Heaven to me.
Wow.
Heaven.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
You know, in Italy, I had a cooking class, so maybe I can teach
Come again?
I took a cooking class.
Oh, okay.
I was pretty good. I made pizza.
Yum.
And focaccia bread.
Yum. Yum. All good stuff. So listen, we all definitely like to eat and we all like to have a good time. And especially when I'm actually coming off of vacation as well. I just came back from Cape Cod and, you know, it's stressful getting back to the first day. And I think like even us deciding whether or not we were going to podcast today, it's hard to get back on a Monday morning. And, you know, it seems like everything is piling up, but it does work out.
Everything piles up. It's just, you know, we're just getting ready for Restaurant Week, September 10th to the 23rd. You know, just making sure that we're on open table and everything's prepared. It's just getting everything ready. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to get this process going for Restaurant Week.
So now both boys are back. They're back from vacation. They're resting. Oh, you're not back from vacation. You're back. You got Scott back. Correct. So you probably need a vacation. But both boys,
right after this podcast, he's going home to bed. I'm working all night.
Exactly. So we'll get you to go to sleep. We'll get you working all night. And then they will be back ready to make people's night feel like a little mini vacation. So that's all from us today from Organized Mayhem. We will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us today for Organized Mayhem Podcast. Check us out on YouTube, X, our website, rapshackpa.com, and rayasphilly.com for updates. Thanks again, and welcome to the Mayhem.